First rule about Ninja Club. Don't go blaring out your sirens like Sega just did right there.
Oh.
I miss the old Sega theme. I miss the old Sega theme.
Yeah, Sega. Also, could you really call that a siren? It sounded more like a phone notification sound.
Well, whatever it is, it made itself known, which is not the thing you should be doing when you're trying to be a shinobi.
Yeah, we're looking at the old Shinobi games.
Yep, this look at's a little special in that I'm going to be covering most, if not all, of the classic Shinobi series, starting with the very original arcade Shinobi, which some time ago got a Sega Ages release for the Nintendo Switch.
Huh.
Hooray!
I think I played this at my local arcade.
I want to ask before I forget, on the side, what's the difference between arcade mode and Ages mode?
Ages mode is basically like a New Game Plus, where it basically lets you it lets you play through the game a little more powered up, like at default. Because usually you only have like one hit to your name and your simple ninja, your shurikens or whatever, whatever projectile you're using. But under Ages mode, you have 2 hits and you have a freaking blaster gun at all times.
We're not even wearing our mask. Aren't we supposed to be hiding our faces?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't get that either. Like, considering the fact that, like, the freaking title screen, you have your mask on, but freaking Joe Musashi here literally decides he's literally a rookie ninja in that he's just, he's letting himself be known all throughout the premises. But
Well, he's also going full on Contra now.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's essentially what this game is. It's literally just a shooter game.
Shredder.
where
Hey,
you
Shredder, what's
primarily-
up?
Yeah, so the main goal of the original Shinobi game is that as Joe Musashi, you're pretty much running and quote-unquote gunning around while you're trying to save all the kids that have been your kids / disciples that have been captured by the evil organization.
One hit
Other
kill.
than
Is this
Blam.
Yes, go ahead.
I was about to say, can we just appreciate the somewhat Belmont strut that this guy has? Sometimes
Oh
when he
yeah,
walks?
he does.
I kind of see that.
Did anyone see
that.
the Alter Beast poster in the background on the?
Oh, that's what that was.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Alter
Yeah,
Beast.
6 of them.
Another series Sega made.
Yeah.
Your kick ass while Daggett was trying to kick his ass, but he just up and disappeared. But
Does that guy have a gun?
We have a gun too. Like, they all have guns. Also, is this the dreaded Z clan from Shinobi 3DS and stuff?
Ooh.
I don't think it is. No, like this is literally like its own rogue ninja clan.
Ooh.
Fireball!
There we go. Now I kicked his ass.
Yay!
Nice.
Stage clear. I like how the end of every stage you just see like Shredder's like, vanish.
Sorry.
Just throws a fireball and then
We've
runs
cornered
off.
him. Well, we've cornered him now.
and now we must face ourselves in hand-to-hand combat, which literally revolves around throwing my shurikens or him throwing his fireballs. And well, it's a good thing his head is glowing.
Oh gosh, we were close.
Even though technically shurikens are not meant to be used as a weapon, it's meant to use as distraction. Sorry, I had to put my geek
Right.
into there.
No, it's
you're
okay.
fine.
You and Matt both, with all your ninja knowledge.
That's why, and that further amplifies the fact that they're made for each other.
Yeah.
Soon he will be here. Soon he will come to visit me.
Oh, that was close.
Wow, I didn't know he had multiple of similar images of him.
Wow, it was
Of
so much
people.
it broke the animation.
Mission
Yeah.
1. Finish.
Oh,
Unless it's one of those. Oh,
And so, since we defeated
this
him,
all
now we
game.
must engage in a bonus round where we literally try to kill every other ninja that's literally just flailing around with our ninja stars.
Oh, and this is what they brought back.
hello
Oh,
there.
and this is what they brought back for 3DS. So, yeah, I never played this in arcade. Ah,
Oh.
ow! That hurt.
I'm sorry.
So let's move on from one game to the other game. So this is technically the direct sequel to the game, to the original Shinobi. This is Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi.
Oh, wait, weren't those two where Twin Towers till they got remade?
I mean, this game technically does take place in the States.
Ah, sorry. No, it's
What were you
different.
trying?
Different thing, yeah.
What were you trying to do there, Logan?
That was me pretending to. Originally, it was me trying to say no. No, it's complete. It's supposed to be a fictitious city that bears no resemblance to any other real city. Also, that was me still being dead because I just so happened to somehow time that properly with the slash of me saying I've never
See,
played the
Twin
original
Towers!
Shinobi.
Told ya.
Maybe.
Told ya.
Let's go to the burnings. Oh gosh, it's all on
Oh,
fire.
We have a doggle!
Oh yeah.
Yep. So we're playing as an unnamed Shinobi who has a doggo companion that actually serves a very well, very useful purpose in the fact that, well, sometimes there's going to be points where you're literally taking heavy bullet
Ooh,
fire,
nice.
but your dog can literally dash in and distract them long enough for you to take the final kill.
wow.
Man, I gotta say, this Haunting Ground remake...
Unfortunately, Doggo can't deal with all the mooks, and when he gets damaged, he turns into a little pumper.
Aww.
Anyway, I was just gonna make the joke about how, like, man, that Haunting Grounds remake looks stellar.
Oh, dear God. Imagine a Haunting Grounds remake in this day and age.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Ow.
Oh. Is it always one-hit kills?
Yes. For like the really classic Shinobi games, you only get one hit to your name, unless you get a power up that lets you take 2.
So, do they explain why the whole city is on fire now?
No.
Another, basically the same shebang as the last game. Another rogue gang of ninjas have come to literally take over America.
Oh, the dog!
Aw.
God, it's
No,
really
you
sad
pupper.
seeing the doggo get hurt.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
you got him
So-
in the foot. I love how you threw a shuriken at his head and he threw it at your foot and you both go down.
Yeah. So I want to ask, like, when the pupper gets hit, like, once, he turns into an actual puppy. What happens if he gets hit during that puppy form?
He's practically invincible while in pupper form.
Oh.
Okay, so it's just a cooldown.
Yeah, your dog can never
Oh.
truly die.
Woo!
Good boy.
No, doggo, no! Don't jump over the ledge!
Careful, doggy.
I'm more worried about the dog than
Oh.
the ninja.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So,
the ninja can take care of himself.
Yeah.
so I'm looking at the lower left. That lower left shows a scroll that is like our equipped element or sub-weapon.
Basically, our screen nuke. Basically, every level you get like an exclusive screen nuke that you can use only once in that particular stage. But if you decide not to use it, you get additional score.
Okay.
Oh.
And that was pretty much the case in the original game as well. But now we got ourselves a boss fight, and unfortunately, Doggo is not here to help
Oh.
us. This is literally us going mono a bow.
My
Oh,
shoulder.
Oh, my shoulder. Oh, I cricked my neck. Ow.
Careful.
So I'm
That's
guessing
the
Doggo in
thing.
this instance has like the Yoshi Island, not Yoshi Island, the Yoshi and Mario World effect where you can only have him in certain levels.
He's basically in every level but the boss levels.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
And
it makes sense considering the fact that, what's Doggo gonna do against bosses?
meteor.
PK
Well, he did.
fire!
PK
How
fire.
did you do that?
That was cute actually.
That was a pretty solid round we just went through. So, yeah, I'll also say I never owned or played this Shinobi on Genesis either.
Welcome to the bonus stage.
That's fair. I mean, my first major exposure to Shadow Dancer was with the PC Sega Genesis / Mega Drive collection, which had that and a whole bunch of other classics I decided to give a romp at. And I mean, honestly, I was pleasantly surprised with this one. I
Okay,
figured it was
just-
just going to be one of those.
Okay, what is with this here? Like, the first one was fine enough, but this is just kind of silly.
We're gonna die either way, so we're gonna take out as many as we can with us. I will say, though, this is a really nice twist on the shmup genre.
I'll agree
Yeah.
to that.
Did you say the schmuck genre?
Shmup. S-H-M-U-P. Shoot 'em up. Or shmup.
Oh.
Also, I was really half expecting him to just face plant when he hits the pavement. I'm going to die.
I mean, it would make sense if he failed too many times. But so let's move on from a more arcade Shinobi to something a little more traditional. which, funny enough, came out the exact same year as the Genesis version of Shadow Dancer. This is The Revenge of Shinobi. Basically, the game that would more or less coin the more widely known gameplay aspects of the Shinobi franchise.
It was still action platformer at its heart, though, right?
Oh, absolutely! Like you still walk in a 2D plane. You jump. You throw your kunai at enemies, and then you can also use your ninjutsu in a pinch. Though, unlike the last couple of games where it was like very straight, like the levels were straightforward. You had to collect a certain amount of things before you actually had to get to the goal. This time, you have to just get to the goal with a little more intricate level design.
Ah.
Okay.
And now we're white.
Yep.
Or cream
Technically,
color.
we had a Waiki on the last game.
I mean, granted, this isn't the same. The same Shinobi as from Shadow Dancer. This is actually the one that returns from the original Shinobi. This is Joe
I'll be
Musashi.
right back.
Oh,
Okay.
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 And, okay.
Now he
this makes
decides
sense.
to wear his mask.
Yeah. And this is pretty much the game that more or less jump-started Joe's more iconic white garb look.
Oh.
Right, and this does already like seem to match the tone of the Shinobi series a lot more with like the feudal Japan and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Even though like.
Oh.
That's the funny thing about the Shinobi games is that, like, at first it seems like your traditional, like, Japanese romp-off, but then it starts to really show signs that you're still technically in modern day. And it's definitely no different in this game. In fact, one thing I will not be showing off, because, truth be told, this game is bug nuts hard.
Really?
At a later point in the game, there's a boss that you fight that literally morphs himself into two types of characters. And in the very original build of this game, the two forms that the boss took were of Spider-Man and Batman.
Huh?
What?
Why? How did they manage to get Marvel and DC?
That's kind of crazy. Like, did they get in trouble?
Sorry about that. I had to check the mail. So what's this about Marvel and DC?
It's okay.
Yeah, go for it. Tell him again, James.
In like the very first build of Revenge of Shinobi, there's a boss that you fight later on in the game who can literally morph himself into particular kinds of forms, and two of those forms that you fight him as are literally of Batman and Spider-Man.
I think I remember you showing us that before.
Yeah, but I mean, granted, naturally that was only something they could get away with in the first. Like, it was supposed to be like a parody of a sort, but it was a little too on the nose. So for later revisions, they had to literally change the look of the character.
I mean, like, I can only imagine both Marvel and DC were kind of like, wait a minute, this is
And then Disney comes into the mix too, because they
It's
own
funny
Marvel.
thinking about it because, I mean, it is funny thinking about it because, I mean, I know with Batman it's a little looser because he literally did fly around like a bat, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that, folks, but
He kind of does with his cape.
Yeah, in some iterations.
yeah. But then when he transforms into Spider-Man, it's like, okay, yeah, no, this is clearly fucking plagiarism.
wait, why is it saying to go this way?
Because we have to go that way. The right is literally blocked because we have to take an alternate route.
Oh.
This game is this game isn't above tricking you with its level design at points.
Okay. Oh, what about our elements up there in the upper right?
Okay, so basically how this game handles your ninjutsu specials is that whenever you decide to press the pause button, you can actually select which of those four you want to have highlighted, and then after that, you can literally press the ninjutsu button to activate them. Though I think you only have one per level, or you could probably still refill them or something along those lines. I'll be real with you folks. Like, out of all the Shinobi games, this is probably the one I have like the least amount of experience with, just because again, it's bug nuts in terms of its difficulty.
Whoa.
Like, it's old school arcade mentality with a more concentrated platform.
Really? The bamboo.
Right in the nuts.
Do not underestimate bamboo.
You say that, Pi? It looked more like it skewered him in the head.
I kind of had the video closed, so I just went with the first thing that came to mind.
Okay.
So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next major Shinobi game, which, I mean, this is probably one of the more iconic Shinobi games, just for, like, this was, like, relatively late into the Genesis lifespan, and it definitely shows in the production values for this game, because I believe this came out around the same time, if not just before Sonic 3.
Oh.
And, I mean, truth be told, this is really one of the better games in the franchise.
Well, that's good. Again, like, I think you mentioned in the 3DS one that like, Shinobi 3 was, like, one of the biggest, like, hits for the series.
Yeah, and it was definitely the biggest inspiration for the 3DS reboot, despite having its own little things here and there. But yeah, this is Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master.
Oh.
And, I mean, this pretty much is, again, a follow-up to The Revenge of Shinobi, and makes some much-needed tweaks to make it a much more accessible experience.
Okay. Well, let's go and find out. And again,
It's like,
never played it. I guess I'll just do a blanket statement. Shinobi 3D was the first Shinobi game I've ever played.
Oh.
Oh, crap, the Zed clan's back.
Yep, Zed has returned, and I guess that's literally the name of the clan that we were dealing with earlier, or maybe the head honcho. I honestly don't remember the technicals, but yeah, here's the Shinobi 3 in action. It's a lot more. There's a lot more foliage to be sure, and I mean, one thing I forgot to mention during Revenge of Shinobi is that both that and this game their soundtracks were composed by the great Yuzo Koshiro.
Huh.
Ooh, oh, geez, not the flute player. He was doing no. He was harming no one.
Oh, but Logan, the flute players are the most deceitful because beyond their flute playing
Thing, the monk stuff.
facade, they take it as a means to make you weak, and then they strike.
Oh, it actually does like a spell buff or something.
Not really. No, I think it's just
okay.
it's just one of those things that calls back to more traditional Japanese folklore, and I mean.
Okay.
We don't have
That's
that
not
to
the most
explain, so...
I thought you were about to
Yeah,
pull. Well,
if
I know
Matt were
they're.
here, he'd probably give a little more insight on it because he's a bigger nerd on this kind of stuff than I am.
I know they're like supposed to be like shrine monks, and that's why they can blow away. Oh, these guys are back. But when I saw that, like, I almost thought what you were trying to do there, James, was like, he will curse you and weaken you. I was like, holy crap, he's a shaman? Nah, I just don't like his music.
oh, Mr. Crablegs is coming in.
Also, just earlier, hello sounds clearly ripped from Sonic 3 Knuckles.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when that
See, I don't-
wall was being destroyed, it sounded exactly like some of the sounds from 3 Knuckles.
Yeah.
Which you could argue that Sonic 3 Knuckles ripped from this.
Oh yeah, because this came out before. Well, it's the sound font. That's the whole like. That's just how they. That's just what they did. It's kind of bit crushed, yes, but it was like the best way they could come up with explosions. But yeah, no. This entire opening area, especially with the caves, yeah, I'm really starting to see what it looks like. This is the game Shinobi 3D was really pulling a lot of its inspiration, or at least with the nostalgia trip at the beginning.
And again, if you thought that the Revenge of Shinobi was a little too, hard and archaic for its own sake, this game more or less tried to fix a lot of the shortcomings of that game. I mean, you have a lot more mobility, first and foremost. I mean, you have a double jump in both games, but I'd say it's a little easier to pull off in this game, but you also have a dash, a wall jump, and,
That homing attack kick you were doing on that one big guy there.
Oh yeah, no, the dive kick is actually a very useful means of attack, especially when you're trying to, go on the move, a la a ninja.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Otto!
Gin.
Ooh, nice.
Sorry, I'm just a little too entranced in the music at the moment. Like, this is some really good stuff.
I can
yeah,
listen to this on
nice.
vinyl.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a vinyl record of Shinobi 3's OST.
Maybe.
And now it's time for our boss, and I mean, unless you take the necessary precautions, this is kind of a drag.
He looks like General
so-
Grievous in samurai armor.
So how
Well,
do our
say-
new? So
You say- Sorry.
I would say are our lightning spells up there kind of like the screen nukes again?
Yes, though, I do recall for this game at the very least. I mean, this could have also been the same for Revenge of Shinobi, but a lot of the your ninjutsu spells in this game are a lot more. They serve different functions. Like, for example, that lightning is actually more of an invincibility spell, whereas there's actually one. There is actually one particular spell that you can use that's actually, I mean, kind of graphic in a way, but it also serves as like a full-on screen nuke, where you literally. I think I'm about to show it off right now because I'm like, yeah, no, screw this. I'm getting impatient.
Do it!
Yeah.
You exploded yourself.
Yep,
and now
literally
you're back.
committed harakiri just to blow this guy in smithereens.
I would have loved if what you did was like suddenly cut you just don't cut the part where he comes back and the guy's like,
Ooh. Yeah, it's kind of like the kamikaze that hero does.
Or it reminds me of that one cheat code for Tomb Raider, and then
whoa,
and then Lara Croft just goes boom.
that base
yeah,
looks a
that's
lot
funny.
less feudal Japan-y.
Like I said, the Shinobi, like the classic Shinobi games in general, I'd say actually most, if not all, the Shinobi games, with the exception of the 3DS reboot, like the entire game technically does take place in a slightly feudalistic Japan, though it technically does still take place in modern times because, well, you have factories, you have genetic experiments and whatnot that Joe Musashi here has to take out, and I mean, it helps that he also has a horse to help him out on occasion.
I love how you just Goomba stomped him with the horse.
I mean, hey, take what you can get. And I mean, I do actually one other level that you can go through in this game, which I won't be able to show up because that's a little later. Joe Musashi literally takes a page from the Turtles and goes on a freaking hoverboard out in the ocean.
Ha!
Careful of that ninja kite. Those ninja kites were actually used to like quickly drop people in.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say if those were kites or not.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
kite.
ninja kite. But they're
Though
big kites that they can ride on.
There's still debate if those actually work or not. But ninjas were
I
very
don't
light.
see how they work.
I mean, they'd have to be very light if they can actually fly like that in midair.
Yeah.
Right.
And quite small,
I mean-
too. There is a height
Small-
limit of being a ninja.
Well, there's also the matter of fact that the kites themselves have to be pretty freaking huge.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, no room for fat ninjas, am I right?
Oh.
Actually, I'm wondering that like who's holding the one that the kite that they're onto? Is there just like another ninja just holding onto the kite, running as fast as he can, flying the kite in the air?
I can totally see that. But yeah, in the meanwhile, we got ourselves a golden ninja boss who literally goes all Speedy Gonzalez on our ass, and I'm just here. I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if I can still use my ninjutsu spells while on the horse.
I don't think you should try. That'd be very dangerous to
Whoop.
the horse. Don't blow up the. Oh. The horse
Kentucky
is.
Fried Horse!
I think the horse is fine.
Okay,
Why would it
I
call
thought
the
you were
horse?
about to do that spell again, and this time the horse is what explodes to detonate the enemy. Oh, we're going to
So
a new
for our
console.
last game for our look at is actually one that's relatively unknown to the community, and is also one that is very much unlike most, if not every other Shinobi game in the series. This is Shinobi Legions,
Oh.
or if you live in Europe, Shinobi X.
Oh.
on Sega Saturn.
X.
And if you're a big fan of really cheesy samurai soap operas from like the 50s or 60s or whatever, this is the game for you.
Let's see. Oh, I hope there's some really wacky live-action cutscenes.
I mean, that face on the title screen there does not lie.
Oh.
Here we go. Oh boy,
Logan, I have never seen you excited.
I love cheesy schlock. Look at this. Stage 1.
Stutteru.
Not Starteru.
Stop it.
It's like how oh,
Oh. Wait a minute. This is a McDonald's.
What am I doing in a video game?
I'm off.
He won't.
Well,
So
what
I forget
story?
who this- I forget who this character's name is, but this isn't Joe Musashi from the previous games. This is
Oh,
like a new
Lord.
character entirely, and
Oh.
yeah, this entire game was literally comprised of digitized graphics, and it shows.
I mean, actually, this doesn't look as cheesy as it could. This actually looks pretty smooth. Like, I've seen some pretty
I
bad
will-
digitized graphics.
I was about to say, I will say, at least from presentation, it's at least a step up from Batman Forever.
When he does the spin, it's a little goofy because I don't think he could actually spin for them to do that. But other than that, those obvious tweening, like this looks really nice. Like it looks better than. Okay, I feel bad to compare it to it, but whenever I'm thinking of a digitized, like this is like a very good photorealistic like digitization of the entire thing. It's not like cartoon backdrop with live action guy. This is like full on like. Sorry. So anyways, sorry about this comparison. This is certainly a much better job than. This is certainly a much better job than when Zelda tried this on the CDI.
Oh,
I said,
you're right.
The less we think about that, the
I
better.
thought you were gonna be more controversial and say that they did better than Mortal Kombat did.
Oh,
no,
I
I
was
mean-
hoping for that. I
Yeah,
wanted to
I
see
will-
Logan get toasted because of it.
I'll admit that. I will admit though that this does look a bit smoother than Mortal Kombat, at least the first one, because since the sprites are much smaller, they don't look as like pixely and blown up artificially. And oh god, I'm sorry.
Just like that, we've literally gained a power up that whenever we use our katana, this image pops up, and if there's any images that collide with it, instant death.
Oh.
I just wish it took a better shape. That's really great for things that are above us, but for people directly in front of us, it's. Oh jeez, careful.
Yeah.
One thing I will definitely say regarding I guess I'll say this much about the game first and foremost. Unlike previous Shinobi games, this game actually does make more liberal use out of your katana weapon, because you've always had a katana in previous Shinobi games, but it was more of a context-sensitive thing. Like, you can only really draw it out when, like, you're really close to an opponent. Here,
Right.
you can pretty much use it whenever you want, and it's really much dedicated to its own button.
Nice.
And,
See, this is good.
I mean, that's a pretty neat gameplay decision. Now, one thing I will definitely say against this game is that while it definitely does look smooth, I don't think it controls quite as tightly as the previous Shinobi games, most especially the third game.
Oh, so what are these blue ores we've been getting?
They're basically your standard collectibles. I think if you collect a certain amount of them, you do get an extra life.
Oh.
And the yellow orbs give you health, and bombs obviously are pretty much your typical detonation thing. You pretty much want to flee the sea whenever they're there, or otherwise you will take damage.
And the kunai are just our throwing
By the way,
weapons.
ready for some nightmare fuel?
Oh, it's a
Oh.
Yoi mask. Oh gosh,
Oh,
it's
boy.
full on 3D.
What
Yeah,
the
and
fuck?
it fucking caught me off guard when I first saw this thing.
It kind of looks like it's like 3D but with a photo texture.
Well, so it's clear like what they did was they literally they made this mask physically and they photographed it as it was rotated around.
I mean, that takes some serious dedication for the craft,
Oh,
and I mean,
gosh.
I'll definitely applaud them for it. But it's like doesn't make this thing any less creepy.
Die, Enma mask.
Oh. Yeah.
And with that, we've cleared our first level.
Oh.
So that game looks like a trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of is. I mean, from what I've played of it, I haven't really gotten too terribly far into it, but I will say, like, what I have seen is like it leaves a mark on you, whether you like it or not.
Oh, more cutscene. Look at him go.
What do we do? Elevator door.
Oh
The
They
controller?
left their PS1 controller.
They took the console.
no! Actually, that
Someone
kind of looks like
took-
chains and wood on
Oh
there.
yeah, it's a hit. Oh yeah, they're hit.
Like someone got kidnapped there and were held against their will.
This is some
Yeah.
digitized audio.
Okay, so that's the name of our main character's show. So,
Oh, nice for you to show up.
Oh, I see. They're on the TV like it's a ransom thing, and his girlfriend has been kidnapped.
girlfriend, sister, something of the sort.
Damsel in distress has been kidnapped. There you
We
go.
must stop it.
Exactly.
Oh.
Ooh.
And we must rise to
Shine.
stop the new Zeet clan
I
again.
just admit that bit. It's like sheen, sparkle, sparkle.
Stay
But I mean,
tuned.
I will give them credit for like really upping the ante. I don't think I've seen many Saturn games do this.
Yeah.
One thing I will actually say before we do end off our look of this entire classic thing, Bob. One thing that's most notable about Shinobi Legion is that the European version of the game, Shinobi X, actually had a completely different OST.
Huh.
Because I guess, Sega of Europe thought that the soundtrack that we got for Legions wasn't Shinobi enough. So they got a different composer to make something that's a little closer to that of the original series. So they got famed / infamous Sonic composer Richard Jotz to make that soundtrack.
Devil damn it!
Oh.
You know what? I was really like the further you went onto it, I was thinking, well, that kind of reminds me of the same thing that they went with the Sonic 3D Blast, where Europe kind of, well, not Europe, but it was like the two different consoles got a different soundtrack. It'd
Yeah,
be
the
funny if
Saturn
it was,
version, basically.
yeah, it's like, oh, that sounds a lot like 3D Blast. You know, it'd be funny if it was the same composer.
It's the same
composer.
dude.
Devil damn it!
It is. And I mean, I'll say this much. From what I do remember, I do like the theme for the first song that he composed, but that's about the most I can immediately remember. But, I mean, it is what it is, and that's pretty much the ill-fated memory of Shinobi Legion for whatever that's worth. And so yeah, with that said, that's it for our look at the classic Shinobi series. There is one other Shinobi-related thing I do have on the cards, but that's going to be something we'll tackle another time.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
So on that note, I'm James Bay Extreme.
I'm Lucky Jack 20.
I'm Pymania Galaxia. I thought Hype was gonna go next.
Nah.
No, I usually go last because it's my trademark, and
It's a
I
couch
make
gag.
Ninja pizza.
Oh, I always
Ninja
feel like I'm
pizza.
always last before everything, but that's just my
Ninja
insecurity
pizza.
talking.
Yeah, it's like, Ninja pizza, pizza that vanished quickly without trace.
Also, that's what the Ninja Turtles eat on a regular basis. Till next time, everybody.
Bye bye.